Alright, it looks like I've started to stream. Alright, it looks like I've started. And that's gonna be a little annoying, but oh well. To stream. Alright, it looks like I've started. Oh, I can't have them both up at the same time. Oh, okay. And that's gonna be a little annoying, but oh well. To stream. We refresh. I wonder. Could I... Oh, that's right, I muted again. Okay. Let me see. Oh, wrong button. Let me see. Just for fun. There. Cover up the stream like that. Alright, hello all two viewers. So today's gonna be a little bit of a different stream. I don't really feel like playing a game right now. And I figure, because I only stream Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I might as well save Undertale for Thursday and possibly do a longer stream than I normally do just for the heck of it. So I figured I might as well just do like a just chatting stream. I haven't done one of these in a long time. In fact, I think it was either my first or second stream was just chatting, or I'll have to look at the VODs again, but I think like the first two actually were just chatting. But yeah, I have a few ideas for topics. I don't know if there's gonna be anyone in chat talking or whatever. Oh yeah, the reason I didn't stream yesterday is because I was sick, so I decided to sleep in because I wasn't feeling too good. Sorry about that. And I was actually gonna stream yesterday. And in fact, I was gonna do this yesterday. I was gonna do 2 Just Talkings for Saturday and Sunday. But nope. Got sick. Feel better now. Let's see. Oh, so I'm hoping either by December or maybe early January, I'm going to start doing a D&D campaign for stream. So I would like to finish Undertale, possibly do one other game. I'm not certain just yet what other game that would be. And then start doing Dungeons and Dragons. Because I'll be the DM. I have one player confirmed who's okay with being streamed. I need at least 1 to 3 more players, because I would like to have a 4-player campaign. But I'm okay with just 2. Especially if it's the 2 I played with before. Because they themselves are just, like, great. What else? Oh, so I had an idea for the campaign world. I want to do a combination of, like, a serious story, but also have some, like, goofy elements to it. Like, one of the side stories or side quests or whatever that I have an idea for that the players could encounter is a necromancer who lives in this big town. I'll explain the town a little later. Who is looking for the remains of ancient heroes from way back in the day. But unfortunately, very few remains exist of these heroes. But he has a few ideas as to some of the locations. And it's going to be stuff like the right pinky of Dave. Or like the left femur bone of... Oh, was it Tyler Doorstep? I think it's the character I came up with. Like it'd just be pieces of bones. And the idea is it's just a thing that the players could occasionally explore. It's not like a main story thing, but eventually they would come across a whole skeleton. Then they could give it to the guy, and then he has some ideas of what he's going to do with it. I'm not going to spoil it just in case they actually do it. But the idea for the campaign itself is it's going to start off in a massive city. So And when I say massive, I mean fucking massive. Like, imagine if New York City, or no, the state of New York just became a city. But I'm also kind of still figuring out how big the city is actually going to be. It's like, the idea is a really fucking massive city, but I could shrink it to smaller, but still have it be really massive. But the idea is there was some sort of conflict or war way back in the day, and a lot of people from different cultures started to leave where they were to try to find a new home. And they tried to take their culture and stories with them, but not everything was taken. And eventually they wound up at a place. They started to build. There was actually 3 different areas, but still like on the coast. Like if you're looking at a map of the United States, they like left from like Maine and New York and Florida and went to California, right? If you were to look at a map of the US. Now imagine California actually being like half of it being the actual city eventually, but the idea is like 3 different areas, 3 different cities in that location slowly began to merge into one city as the conflict elsewhere was ramping up. So that because they're like, well, we're too far apart, we need to get closer together. They eventually start to get closer together. They build a massive city that's extremely defendable. Something happens, the conflict ends, and a lot of these people from different cultures and backgrounds and so on made this massive city, brought their culture in, but a long time has passed since then. A lot of the culture has gone missing, and a lot of the people who live there don't know what's going on in the outside world. There is like a town or 2 that they trade with for supplies, but mostly for the story purposes, the rest of the world, if you will, is unknown. Like, they don't know if where they came from is still around. A lot of people don't even remember where they came from because it's been so long. And the people who were fresh, who came from those places, they're now either very, very old or dead. And a lot of the culture didn't get brought with them, so they tried to remember everything. But of course, with memory, sometimes you change things unintentionally or intentionally. So I thought that could be a fun concept where you're living in a massive city. There's different districts. Like there's basically an area that's similar to Japan, but like a medieval version. I don't even think the D&D world that I'm making is going to be medieval, because the city's going to have a lot of advances. But anyways, the idea is you've basically lived in the city your whole life, and now it's time to explore. But at the same time, because I give my players freedom, I forget what the other word is, they could decide not to leave the city, because I have a shit ton of content that I have an idea for that they could just do in the city. If they decide they want to do purely a city-based adventure, then they could do that. If they decide to go with the idea I have, where they occasionally leave the city, try to find pieces of culture, figure out what's happened, establish trade, and all that type of stuff, then they could do that as well, or they can even do a combination of the two. It's completely up to the players how they want to explore it. I have an idea for some villains that I think could be really fun. I have an idea for a lot of NPCs. Like I mentioned, there's that necromancer who lives in town, who wants to find the remains of ancient heroes that he's read about. Some of the heroes who went back to conflict or stayed in the conflict that the people leaving to create this city told stories about and wrote about. But I also said, like, it's going to be a combination of serious and goofy. Kind of like Obsidian. That game company that made, like, Fallout New Vegas and The Outer Worlds. They do, like, a combination of goofy but also serious. And I like the idea to try to do that with D&D. I'm also going to take a lot of the official 5th edition books, like Waterdeep and a few other campaigns, and adapt it to my world, because the world I'm creating is a massive city. I like the idea because Waterdeep is a campaign in a massive city. of adapting a lot of those elements into it. So like there'll be an open lord like L'Oreal Silverhand, who is openly the ruler of the city, but then there's masked lords who control different aspects of the city who are unknown. No one knows who the masked lords are, and they have a mask that literally makes them all appear to be the same height and to be like genderless. Their voice sounds completely neutral. They are just a form in a mask. You can't tell what their race, ethnicity, gender, sex, anything. I'm just saying words right now. You can't tell anything from them, and I like that concept. I might change a lot of the aspects of it, of course. I also have a few ideas for some magic items that could be found. There was one I came up with yesterday, but because I forgot to write it down, it's like driving me crazy. I can't recall what... Oops, I dropped my pen. I can't recall what it is. Oh, and because of Undertale, I'm going to have to add the hero sandwich. It's a sandwich in the shape of a sword. I'm going to have to add that into my game now. I even like the idea of the sandwich itself makes you a little better with a sword temporarily. Oh, this is upside down. How did this get turned upside? Oh, interesting. Okay. Sorry, just looking at a note thing and it was upside down. Weird. Hopefully this isn't too loud on stream. Just get ready to throw that out later. Trying to think of what else. Let's see. Disney Plus, Pluto TV, watch cartoons. How do you hide this? I assume you can hide this. I don't care enough. Damn, I had another topic. What was it? See, sometimes if I could talk, but as long as there's people talking with me, sometimes I'm just like, oh crap, I was gonna say something. What was I gonna say? Fuck it, I'll just continue with my D&D campaign. So if for whatever reason, one of my players or all my players watch this, I don't know why you would. Maybe pause now and wait until I do this, or fast forward or whatever until I do this, because I have a little spoiler thing. It's not major, but I'm going to start now. So, in previous campaigns I have run years ago, I started DMing that in 2016. I had this, one of my players had a bear. And the bear, long story short, was eventually able to talk and create sweets and pastries. He could cough up a full cake or whatever, or throw up a whole cake, or just shoot it out of his paws or whatever, right? So then later on in a different campaign, I had a reference to him. No, actually, no, well, he wasn't a reference. He was actually in there. He was running a bakery. This grizzly bear. I think he was a grizzly bear. I'll have to ask again, but I'm pretty certain he was a grizzly bear. Run the bakery, and he had magic. He didn't bake the stuff himself. He just made it magically. So the idea is in this campaign, because I doubt I'm gonna have any of those players, but I could. I'm gonna eventually have my party, if they find it, if they take this quest line, they're gonna have a quest line that I'm entitling Bear Claws. And the idea is there's this group of people who've heard about Bear Claws, the pastry, but they want to have legitimate Bear Claws, and there's supposed to be some sort of confusion where eventually the players, try to buy bear claws, but instead of buying the pastry bear claws, they actually buy the actual bear claws, and they're like, what the heck? But then when they bring it to the people, they take it and they're like, wait, this isn't what we wanted. But they're like, yeah, you wanted bear claws. And they look down and it's just like regular donuts or whatever. I don't know the full idea. It's just a random concept. But the idea is once they leave the town, because it's supposed to be like people on the outskirts of town, or city, excuse me. So whenever they leave the city, the thing that they got turns into something else, but they don't notice it until they reach the bandits or whatever they are. And then they're like, what the fuck? Why is it keep changing? Like, they'll go back and forth, right? And it'll keep changing. And then eventually, they maybe confront the baker, right? And then the baker reveals himself to be the bear. And he's like, yeah, I've been having a problem with those people. And I just want to have a little fun, have a little chaos. But at the same time, I was just thinking, like, I like that idea, but at the same time, I hate that idea. Because I've done stuff like that before. So maybe instead of that, they just walk into a bakery and they see a bear behind the counter. I don't know which one I like more, probably the second one. Because that first one's kind of lame. But I like it that it's kind of lame because I like the idea that not everything has to be epic. You could just do quests or like what the fuck? Why am I doing this? Like, one idea... Actually, it's not... Well, one idea I've actually done before in the past was I had the party... if I remember correctly, there was this... what was the exact detail? If I recall correctly, there was a girl who needed to hire an adventurer to find, like, her ring or something. The adventurer never came back, so she asked the party if they could find the adventurer for her. So the party goes, finds the adventurer, finds that he's dead, looks like he was destroyed by, like, a massive spider, but they find the ring... They bring it back to her, and she's like, okay, thank you, and she leaves. And they're like, wait, where's our reward? And she's like, no, I paid him. I didn't pay you guys. I just asked if you could find the adventurer. I'm not paying you. And they kind of left it at that. I'm like, yes, that's what I was hoping for. Because not every adventure you do is going to have a reward. Sometimes you just do shit to help people, and there's no reward. And I like the idea of that. Now, of course, depending on the players' alignments or how they feel, they could be like, oh, she didn't reward us, okay. Well, I'm a rogue, I'm just going to break in and steal her stuff. But, of course, that didn't happen the one time I did it. So I like the idea of doing more things like that, where the party does a quest to help someone or whatever, and then nothing. There's no reward. The thing that they discover is a dead end. Because with that whole, like... dude that got destroyed by a spider thing, the party eventually went back to check on him, and he was still there, of course, and there were still signs that a spider killed him, but they couldn't find the spider, and in fact the dungeon, quote unquote, itself was very, very small, so there was like no satisfaction of fighting a spider or anything. They did later, maybe like 5 or 6 sessions later, fight a giant spider, but that was like unrelated. But to them, they were like, yeah, we finally killed the spider. I was like, okay, that's up to you guys. Oh, yeah, I should have done this before, but that's okay. I highly doubt any of my players could be watching, because I only have one confirmed. And the idea is hopefully it would be either December or early January. If I could do December 8th, that would be great because that's my birthday. And I like the idea of starting a campaign on my birthday. Birthday? I said birthday for some reason. My bird said the bird is the word. But hey, there's 2 viewers. So any of you have any ideas for topics or whatever I can talk about? Because I talk to you. I know, that was lame. That's kind of the point of this stream. Hmm. Yeah, when I was playing not Minecraft, well, RuneScape on this stream, I need to go back to RuneScape. I really like it, and I started to see some growth on it on my streams with RuneScape. But I had promised that one day I would eventually do a stream where I just talk about my past experiences with RuneScape and a lot of the fun adventures and like stories I got into. So I did do a tiny bit of roleplay, tiny bit. I'm still gonna do that stream eventually. I have a notebook somewhere where I wrote down, like I wasn't keeping detailed logs, but I wrote down some of the fun things that happened. Like maybe a year after I stopped playing originally, and I was like, oh yeah, this was fun. And I started to write down a lot of the fun things. I still haven't found that notebook, and I probably won't because it probably got destroyed or something. But I have been looking for it so that way I could use that as like a reference. I probably, like I was saying, I probably won't find it, but that's okay. But I do plan on going back to RuneScape eventually, probably after I do Undertale. And also doing a stream where I talk about all the fun, crazy shit that happened way back in the early days of RuneScape. That's now called Old School RuneScape. Back in like, what was it, 2004 to 2006 or something like that. It was like slightly after Dungeoneering got added to RuneScape is when I stopped. When was that? It's probably 2006, 2007, something like that. I also have yet to get a 99 in anything in RuneScape, but I think my highest skill I ever got was 70 in defense, if I remember correctly. Of course, I haven't played RuneScape in a little bit since streaming, so I need to look back at some of the VODs to see what levels I'm at. I just need to go back to RuneScape in general. RuneScape is really fun. It's one of those free-to-play games that like you keep going back to because they're really, really fun, but you also take long breaks from because sometimes you're just like, oh, I'm bored of this. Not free-to-play game, but another example is Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing for the Switch, I really, really like it, but I take extremely long breaks from it. Like, the biggest break I've taken was almost 2 years, or was it a year and 8 months, something like that, which is huge. It was like from October, like the first Halloween that you would have in there, if I recall correctly, to about this September was the break, or something along those lines. But I did get back to it. I did play it like 2 or 3 times, and then now I haven't played it in like a month and a half. But it is one of those games where it's like, you like it when you play it. You always have good memories, like looking back onto it. But it's just hard to stay with it. I know there are people who play daily, and I'm just like, wow, okay. I don't think I could do something like that with Animal Crossing. Yeah, let's switch from fantasy tabletop RPGs to video games. Oh, hey, Cleo. Do you have any topics you want to talk about? Oh, yeah, and if you ever want to do that Colonel Sanders stream, I'm willing. But today I'm just doing a just chatting, and then Thursday is my next stream, and I'll be trying to either finish or just do a long stream with Undertale. But how have you been? Also, are you interested in streaming D&D? Because I have one confirmed player. Excuse me. Sometimes I can't talk. Boop boo 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 boo. Boop boo 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 boo. Cleo walks in and I just unload on him verbally. Oh, there's something I was gonna say before Cleo. Oh yeah, so speaking of video games, there's a few games that will be coming out soon that I think will be good. Like, I'm definitely saving money for Xbox Series X, the newest Xbox, because even though I think the S would still be good, and the S is definitely cheaper, I've been hearing the occasional murmurs that it might be purposely bad or something like that. Of course, there's a lot of people saying no, that's just obviously fake or whatever. Had some medical problems, so haven't been on my... Oh, yeah. I hope you're doing better. I've had a medical issue in September that was really interesting, but I hope you're doing okay. I remember you had the big C that's been going around. That's still going around. But yeah, so what was I saying? So yeah, there's a few games that I'm excited for that's going to make me have to buy the brand new, better Xbox than the S. But there have been some games that were disappointments I've seen, because I saw a tiny bit of Scorn, right? And it looked interesting. But apparently Scorn was very, like, buggy and glitchy. Like, some people, like, the story elements... Stream latency is bad, so may take a minute for me to respond well. Yeah, I know. I wish I could fix the stream latency. It's really annoying. Annoying? Wow. Annoying. So Scorn was interesting. From what I've seen, gameplay-wise, and what someone broke down of what the story could be, the story is subjective, right? And the environment is creepy and all that type of stuff. Like, that's the... Deftone better. Oh, Def doing better. I read that as Deftone. Wow. Yeah, you're definitely doing better. That's good. So the environment of Scorn and the quote-unquote story, the story's up to subjective, right? It's like you're basically determining the story by looking at all the elements and interacting with all the elements. That's the good stuff about Scorn. The bad stuff is everything else. Too glitchy, too buggy. There have been people who legitimately can't beat it. The puzzles sometimes are interesting, but mostly they're redundant. Like, you have no need to do them, so why are we doing them in the first place? Or they're the same thing. And my stream settings. Okay, let's see. May. Yeah, I'll check that out later, because I think it's also my computer is crappy. Like, this computer is not good for streaming. That's why I eventually gotta get something better. But, I think it's that. Oh, by the way, Netherworm, my brother, he'll be streaming soon. He's coming up with a day, but he's got a nice laptop that's meant for gaming, so he's gonna be streaming soon. But yeah, let's see. So yeah, I've heard there's a lot of unfortunate things about Scorn. So, to me, all I really need to do with Scorn is just watch videos on it. I don't need to play it. It was something I was going to play, but I wasn't like that interested in. But a game that I was super interested in, that I will admit I had fun with, but ultimately I know it's horrible and an extreme letdown, was Saints Row. I at first was enjoying it, having fun, but I was realizing, okay, this is a letdown. This isn't as good as it could have been. Character creator is awesome. I found the humor funny, but I know that it wasn't that funny. But yes, the Saints Row was a huge letdown, and oh man. To be fair, I had fun with it, but yeah, it was a letdown. Whoa, what? That's cool. I know you're responding to Netherworm, but for a second I thought you were responding to Saints Row. Like, whoa, what? That's cool. That's a letdown. But yeah, no. Uh, but yeah, I wish Saints Row was better. Let's see, settings. Yeah, I'll check it after stream sometime. Let me refresh. Refresh the stream. Sometimes that helps. I don't know if that's going to help, but sometimes bitrate. Oh, hey, Gideon. Hello. I'm just refreshing the stream because it's being annoying, and now my bitrate is crap. So let me refresh again.
What's up?
Nothing much. Just talk about video games that were a letdown. Like Saints Row and Scorn. Why is the bitrate crap right now? Ah, that's annoying. I'll leave it like that. Yeah, I'm saving.
What's this stream about?
Oh, it's just in general a just chat and stream. I did mention to the stream that I'm going to be doing Undertale on my next stream Thursday, and I'm gonna probably do a long stream. I don't know if I'll complete Undertale, but I'm gonna try to do a really long stream. Oh yeah, Kaleo, this is Gideon who sometimes joins in chat, usually with Undertale.
You should shoot for the neutral ending.
Shoot for the neutral ending? Okay. I'll see what happens. Who knows? I'm gonna refresh one more time. Has there any been? Wow, English. For you, Gideon, has there been a game that came out relatively recently?
I'm Gideon the Gargoyle.
Yeah.
I live on your.
You live in our computer. Has there been a game that came out relatively recently, in the last year or two, that disappointed you? Because I've been talking about that, and I mentioned Saints Row and Scorn.
Time isn't real.
Time isn't real. Time is only an illusion. I forget the rest of the lyrics. Oh, let me put the picture back up. There we go. My bitrate is crappy, but that's okay.
I can't play video games, but Pokemon in general.
Oh, Pokemon in general? Yeah. Well, hopefully the new one will be good, because that's...
Pokemon.
Yeah. The new one looks like it's going to be, good. But yeah, the problem with Pokemon is not Pokemon itself, it's Game Freak. In my opinion, from what I've played from Game Freak, it seems like they just want to do the same game over and over again with very little difference, so that way they could just make money and relax. I know it takes effort to make a game, don't get me wrong, but it seems like they don't want to try until recently. Probably because they've been shit on so much that they're like, oh, okay, I guess we gotta finally try. I would be interested to see a different company make a Pokemon game. I doubt that would ever happen.
I want Let's Go Johto.
Let's Go Johto? Yeah, that could be fun. Personally, I would what they're currently making, the open world Pokemon game.
I want a second-gen version of Let's Go Pikachu.
What they're currently making looks like the Pokemon game I've been waiting for. What I'm ultimately waiting for, I don't think they would ever do, but have an official open world that's kind of doesn't need to be online.
Violet and Scarlet.
Yeah. So the eventual game I hope they make doesn't have to be an MMO, but have some MMO elements. You're able to explore all the regions. You can choose what region you go to. That would be a fun game. Where it's you don't have to start off in Kanto. You could start off in Johto or Unova or whatever.
Open world.
Yeah, open world. Let's see.
Have you played Crystal Clear?
Crystal Clear. No. I assume that's one of the fan Pokemon games. I haven't played any of the fan Pokemon games yet.
Open world mod of Crystal.
Ah, cool. I'll have to check it out sometime. See, I like the idea, not necessarily of making your own Pokemon in a Pokemon game, but I like the idea of being able to customize them.
Kanto and Johto, obviously.
I like the idea of being able to customize Pokemon, like give them outfits or whatever, maybe dye their fur or whatever, and like train them to be able to do moves that they normally couldn't. Like, you know how there was that whole Surfing Pikachu?
What about Pokemon Tabletop?
Oh yeah, there is a Pokemon tabletop. I don't think there's like an official one from Game Freak, but there are. I think there's like two I've noticed. There was one we were gonna play a while back, but I like the idea. What was I gonna mention? Yeah, of just like making it similar to the show, because you know how like there was that Surfing Pikachu. I know that was just a game thing. I like the idea of being able to train a Pokemon, but have it take a while, like it's a whole quest thing. Try to train them to be able to learn moves they normally couldn't. Like, Onix. Training Onix a long time, and eventually he's able to learn Surf. Something like that. That could be like a fun element to the game. But it takes like a long time. I also like the idea of... I don't know how they would implement...
How would you do that in a not grindy way?
Well, it would have to be like a story thing. Like, you find a person... Like, if it was to be Surf and it was to be Onix, you would have to find a trainer who's like a surfing trainer or whatever, and you would have to like learn elements of surfing from him, and then you would notice that maybe he has a Pokemon that shouldn't be able to surf. So then you would inquire about that, and...
You've never played Magikarp Jump?
Magikarp Jump? No, that doesn't sound familiar. I think I know what it is. It sounds like a...
Mobile game.
Yeah, I don't play mobile games.
The training is really repetitive.
Yeah, I like the idea of not having like repetitive like grinding and that type of stuff, but having an option that if people like that, they can always go back to it. But see, I like the idea of you find someone who could train to teach a move that you normally couldn't learn, and then you have like story elements where maybe you do certain things or you have certain dialogue options, and depending on how well you do determines if your Pokemon can A, learn that move, Surf, B, can they be effective with that move, or is it like very weak, like a weak version of the move? And then maybe you could only train like a maximum of 5 different moves that they normally couldn't, and then you just can't teach them any new moves that they couldn't learn. Because I also like the idea, but having no idea how they would implement it, where you don't have a limit to how many moves you could have, per se.
In canon, that would take its Sevs up.
I'm sorry, what was that?
In canon, that would take its Sevs up.
Yeah, I like the idea.
EBS.
I also like the idea of...
OMG. Tom.
I also like the idea of having, like, unique gym badge things. Like, I remember in the show, Gary had a shit ton of badges at the beginning, and they weren't, like, official badges or something like that. So I like the idea of, like, unofficial gyms. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, have you heard about the...
I think the idea was...
Go ahead.
There's more gyms than you need badges.
Yeah. Like, there's more gems, but you only need, like, 8. But there's, like,
So
others.
you need 8, but there's like 12.
And I like the idea of having something like that, where you can even have, like, independent gems that try to be, like, competing with all the other gems and stuff like that. Like, but what I was going to say is, have you seen the news about the gym leader situation for Scarlet and Violet? Because I like the idea that they're doing.
No, I haven't.
Do you want to know, or do you want to go into Scarlet and Violet fresh without knowing?
Sure, tell me.
Okay, so I'm going to do this. Just in case the other 2 people in chat don't want the spoiler, when you can mute me now, and when you see me do this with the mouse, you can unmute. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the idea for the gym leaders is there's going to be one of each type. So there's actually going to be...
The other person is me, LOL.
Yeah. So, well, there's 3 viewers. But yeah, so there's going to be 18 gym leaders. 1 per type. Instead of the traditional 8. And I think they will level to you. I'm not certain about that, but there's going to be 18 gym leaders. So what do you think about that? I kind of like that they're going to do that. I don't know what the fan base is going to think, because I'm pretty certain, because Netherworm told me that. And I'm pretty certain it's...
Not really enough info to know how that'll work.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do this. Alright, I think it's a good idea. I hope it can be implemented well. But I could also see people freaking out that it's like, that's just... I also purposely haven't been looking at the new Pokemon, just in case I decide to play the game. I have seen some things, but there are also things I haven't seen yet. Because I know Netherworm, he's debating if he should not look at the Pokemon so that way he can be fresh and not knowing.
I'm not looking up info either.
Yeah. Because usually the way I played the Pokemon games before, and same for Netherworm, is that we'll look at the Pokemon and be like, ooh.
Because I think it's fun to see what gets to me.
Yeah.
Via osmosis.
Yeah. So back in the day, Tim and I, Netherworm, I can call him Tim because he's okay with that. We would just look at the list of all the new Pokemon and be like, oh, I want that, I want that, I want that, and then play the game. But he's debating something I've also wanted to do in the past, which is not see what's new, try to get as little information as possible, so that way when you're playing it for the first time, you're actually exploring and not knowing what's coming. You don't know what they're going to look like. Kind of failed at that, but at the same time, there are some announcements where I just purposely haven't looked, where they showed...
I'm not planning on playing.
I'm sorry, did you say you're planning on playing? So I know
I'm not planning on playing.
Yeah, I'm undetermined if I'm going to play or not. Because I think I want to wait to hear if it's actually good. Because I'm tired of playing the same old thing over and over again. It looks like it's going to be fun. It looks like it's going to be the Pokemon game I've been waiting for. But I still have concerns to the point where I'm like, I might wait. Not to look up a detailed review, but just to see if it's okay or good. Also, I get very little use of my Switch.
I want to play Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild 2. I still own Breath of the Wild 1 for Switch, and I still have yet to beat it. I was going to get back to it. It's just, I thought the controller scheme could have been a lot better. I think you can fix some of the controls, but I just thought the way the game plays could have been a lot better. The way the game played itself was just annoying to me, like how the control system worked. I thought it could have been way better. But at the same time, it wasn't annoying. I just didn't get used to it. Usually if
I had that problem with Odyssey.
Like, it's a good game. I just wish the control scheme would have been better.
I wanted 64 controls.
No. But I should try to get back to it and play it. There's another tabletop RPG idea. A Legend of Zelda one could be interesting. But yeah, so I'm going to go now, switch the topics to games I'm excited for. So there's one game that's coming out next year unless it gets delayed. Which, if it gets delayed, it just means they're trying to make it better. But there's one game I'm excited for that I think has the potential to be a 10 out of 10. And I never rate games that high. Or actually, my rating system is...
Give themselves a goddamn break.
Like, my rating system is like from 0 to 100. I don't do like the 5 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 or 1 out of 5, like that type of crap. But Starfield, that game that's coming out from Bethesda, everything I've seen and everything they've talked about and stuff that's leaked.
I don't rate to shit, lol.
Yeah. Well, I grade shit if I really like it. Then I'm like, okay, I like this a lot. I'm going to give it a grade. But I'm really excited for Starfield. I think it has the potential to be my favorite game of all time. I think the sequel will be better because I know that there's still going to be learning curves because this is the first new IP from Bethesda and they're used to making Skyrim and Fallout. But I know that they've already learned from their mistakes of like Fallout 76 and even their mistake of Skyrim. Skyrim was a great game, but significantly better with mods. And there was elements of Skyrim that they were like, oh, it should have been more of a hardcore RPG. Same thing with Fallout 4. They learned the lesson of, oh, the protagonist should not have been voiced.
Dude, the goddamn mannequins.
Yeah.
The mannequins.
People have created
Holy
some...
fuck.
People have created some fun lore about the mannequins, like some conspiracy theory things, and I think Bethesda's leaned into it. Because Bethesda likes that type of stuff. But, oh yeah, there is a mod with the mannequins.
I'll only play Skyrim with a mod that takes them out entirely.
Oh, Gideon, there's a mod that makes them come alive at night and they can also attack you in your sleep. Oh. If you ever started...
Okay, but that's fine.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how you feel. I know you have some issues with horror elements, but...
I just don't want to walk into the basement and get jump-scared.
Oh, okay. Jump scares, great. Because there are some fun mannequin mods you should look into if you ever want to do like a spooky Halloween Skyrim play or whatever. But yeah, so back to the whole Bethesda thing. Now that Bethesda is owned by Microsoft, and Phil Spencer, the owner of Microsoft, has really put in the effort of being like, yeah, we need quality, but also he's gone for a lot of quantity. I'm thinking Starfield is the game for Bethesda that they have to succeed in. It cannot be a flop. It can't be glitchy at launch where they eventually patch it. It has to be a high quality game. And because I feel like they have to do that, I'm thinking they're going to put all the effort that they can to making this game as good and as polished as possible, launching it, and then the players are just going to enjoy the crap out of it because of how much quality they put into it. And I feel like because of that, the next games after that are also going to be the same in quality, like Elder Scrolls 6, Fallout 5, Starfield 2, whenever that happens, so on and so forth. So I'm thinking Bethesda has learned a lot from their mistakes. They realize that they can't continue to shovel out crap like Fallout 76 and get away with it now that they're owned by Big Daddy Microsoft. So I'm thinking Starfield's going to be fan-fucking-tastic. It's going to be the game that I finally say is my favorite game, because I don't definitively have a favorite game. I have a list of games I enjoy the crap out of, but there's always issues with it where I'm like, this can't be my favorite. Whereas Starfield, I feel like will finally be my favorite. And I'm hoping games in general take that trajectory of learning from their mistakes and becoming quality over just quality over quantity. Sometimes I say the wrong word for that. Like the new Mass Effect that'll be coming out. So far, people are just saying Mass Effect 4. No one knows what the actual title is going to be. From everything I'm seeing of that looks like that's going to be fantastic. I'm a little worried about the new Dragon Age, but hopefully that would be great. I don't know. I'm going to refresh stream, but what do you guys think in chat?
Crickets.
Yeah, crickets. There we go. Well, what do you think, Gideon? Do you think that certain companies will be making quality over quantity because of like past mistakes and like learning from them, or do you think games are just gonna be the same? Crickets. Boo, 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 do, 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 do. Wow, that delay is huge. I just saw that on stream. Holy crap. I'll have to check settings out later, but man. It's like every stream I do, the delay gets bigger and bigger. I'm assuming it's because of my computer. Because I'm paying for high quality internet. Question is, do they actually give you that? I don't want to make too much fun of my internet provider, but they do it themselves. They tend to make themselves a laughingstock. Untitled.png. Alright. So. Oh, you were going to say something. I heard that.
Tom can't say H-U-H.
Your voice, the voice thing, yeah.
Show me on the screen.
Oh yeah, you're on screen. There. I was trying to think of
TTS channel.
Yeah, I'm on the TTS. Oh, by the way, Kaleo, if you're still in chat, if you want to join Texas, the in general talk, the TTS, you're more than welcome to. I just gotta go do something real quick. Well, I can't mute my microphone, but I can unplug my microphone to mute. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Maybe less, maybe more. But I'll be back.
I don't even have enough energy to joke about taking over the stream. You could have left the image up at least Lamau.
Why did I click that? I wanted to click this. Okay. Ugh. Alright, so, shit. I just thought of something that I sat down and now I'm blanking. Oh, alright. So, how many of you in chat have been playing the Yakuza games, or have had played the Yakuza games? Because right now, I'm on the second one. I started off with the prequel, Yakuza 0, and now I'm on Kiwami 2. I'm really liking those games. I wish I played them when they came out. Those games really slap hard. They're really good. So far, I'm enjoying the gameplay of 2 the most. I still think 0 has the best story, but I haven't played them all yet. 1 was also really good. But I didn't really care for the side stories in 1. I really like the side stories in 0 and 2. I can hear the neighbors moving around. Now, I'm going to see if I can figure out how long the delay is. I'm going to click on the stream as soon as it gets to the hour mark and see how long it takes before the picture disappears. Because it feels like every stream I do, the delay gets like slightly longer. Because it used to be just like 2 seconds when I first started. Then it went to like 4. And now I think it's significantly more. Like 12 seconds probably. Who knows? But it's annoying how long the delay is. I'll check out settings before I do the next stream.
There's a huge delay between me typing, the sound going through call, and then even more till the stream.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to